Good morning and welcome to ASI's Tuesday morning show where ASI's most outspoken editors talk promo products. I'm Melinda Legos, editor-in-chief. Well, we do a lot of things besides talk promo products, but today we're going to talk promo products, Joe Haley.
Oh, good. Good.
Welcome to today's show. We've got a great show for you today. We are going to talk about PR tips and tricks to grow your business. And if you have ideas or thoughts or questions related to getting more PR for your company, we would like to hear from you. Give us a call at 215-953-4979. Joe, if we put you on the air today, what special prizes do we have in store?
We've got a fantastic prize pack that includes...
This is a brand new prize pack.
Brand new prize pack. Andy just set up a chocolate from Chocolate Inn.
And Michelle can attest to how Michelle can attest to how delicious the
fantastic. It's been wonderful.
We have a silicone phone wallet.
Okay.
We have a 5-in-1 buddy charger.
Ooh.
So you can charge a variety of your devices. And then we've got a cord, would you call it, Michelle? A
detangler from Debco.
From Debco. And the charger is from our friends at HIT. And the silicone wallet is from Pop Promos.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
All right, and Andy is now showing them off, although I would not recommend that you become the next Vanna White. Because you don't have quite the finesse that she does, perhaps. Anyway.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Call us at 215-953-4979 to talk about your PR tips and tricks or give us any questions. And you can earn the ASI Radio prize pack. Joe, what else is on tap for today's show?
We're going to look at how to train your customers, creative ways to build your brand from a retail hipster. We have marketing tactics that stand the test of time. We also have how to double your newsletter subscribers in 5 days, Andy. 5 days.
Just 5 days.
Just
all
5
that
days.
and more in 5 days.
In 5 days. How to handle customer complaints without compromising your values. We have 5 notes to write that can change your life, our favorite things. But we're going to start off with the industry news in 60 seconds. Andy.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We begin this. We begin this morning with some legal news. Tech giant Apple sent a cease and desist letter to a handful of industry distributors last week, claiming that some charger products sold in the promotional products industry actually violate Apple patents. Apple says that its square wall charger and essentially any cord that can be plugged into an Apple product are patented and can't be sold without its permission. Go to asicentral.com now for the full story. Top 40 distributor news now. Boundless Network has merged with online customer consumer products company Zazzle. Boundless now becomes a wholly owned subsidiary of Zazzle. Jason Black, former CEO of Boundless, will become a consultant for the company, and current president Henrik Johansson has been named CEO. Top 40 supplier news now. Dard Products announced yesterday that it has named Bonnie Shevin-Sandy as president. She had previously worked at the company as executive vice president and president of DDI. In August 2013, she partnered DDI with Halo branded solutions, effectively turning it into a distributor operation. She now comes back to head up Dard. Apparel market news now. Gildan Activewear reported that revenues in its most recent quarter increased by 6.4% to $666 million. Also in the period, the company's net profit jumped by 27%, helped by higher sales from its printwear and branded apparel division. And finally, make sure to check out the latest episode of The Joe Show and Promogram today. Joe, what is hot for today out there?
Andy, we have an ice scraper that has a built-in LED light.
Cool.
So if you're ever out in a parking lot, you're not under a street light, you have no light, you got to scrape off all that frost and snow. You can see.
Going to be important in the coming days here in the old Northeast, huh?
Yeah, I think the polar vortex is back today. It's freezing.
No, if it was back, we'd have a lot of snow.
Yeah,
though.
we're like 1 degree above freezing. That's why.
1 degree.
1 degree. Yeah, I checked.
It is monsoon-like, though, outside.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. All right, thanks, Andy. We have our friend Leighton Lee on the line who's from ETS Express. He's going to give us our product safety minute. Andy mentioned the big news about the Apple patent infringement issues, and I believe that Leighton is going to talk about that as well. Good morning, Leighton.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's well and staying dry out there.
Thank you.
We're trying.
Anyways, yes, Andy brought up the whole topic about the Apple charger issue. And although this is not a product safety issue this morning, I felt compelled to share why it's a compliance issue and why product safety and other areas of compliance are so important to all of us. Apple did send out a letter, which we call a cease and desist letter, a C&D letter, telling suppliers and manufacturers and people that are selling those chargers to immediately cease and desist from selling any of those items, and also to divulge their customers' names and addresses and identities and how many pieces have been sold of the offending chargers. There are two types of chargers that that are used for the iPhones, iPads, and iPods. There's an 8-pin connector and a 30-pin connector. Both of these are patented by Apple, and they own the exclusive rights to these things. So anybody that is selling or making any of these connectors outside of a license agreement with Apple could get nailed, and that's why the industry should be very, very, very aware of these issues and pull them from their catalogs and from their websites immediately. There is a particular mark that should be on these connectors or these chargers, and it's M as in Mary, F as in Frank, little I, MFI, or M. This means that the item is made for iPod, iPhone, or iPad, and it's part of Apple's licensing program. So if it's missing that M5 logo on the item, it's most likely unauthorized goods. So anyways, we should all keep an eye out for these items. Putting some safeguards in our compliance programs will keep us out of trouble and prevent disruption to our orders. And that is the Product Safety Minute for this week. Hope you folks have a great week.
Just one quick question.
Yes,
what should distributors do when they are looking to purchase items like this from some suppliers? Are there certain questions they should be asking?
Yes, great question. As we do in the product safety area, do you have test reports for the item, as well as do you have a license agreement with Apple to make or sell this item? And if they cannot produce a letter of authorization or a licensing letter from Apple, then that item is most likely unauthorized.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much, Leighton, and have a great day.
Thanks, both.
That was
Thank
Leighton
you.
Lee from ETS Express. Andy, you've been covering this. Obviously, we've been covering it in Counselor Promogram. What other news have you learned?
Well, interestingly, when he started his segment, he said that it's not a product safety issue. It actually kind of is in many respects. Many people are speculating that Apple first kind of caught wind about the promotional products industry because of the recalls that have happened as far as charger products. So there's a couple different theories on how Apple figured all this out and decided to move forward. But one theory that I think is probably pretty accurate is that, in the last 6 months, there's been a bunch of charger product recalls, not just in this industry, but also at retail. And they think that might have caught Apple's eye to the products in the first place.
Sure.
So that's one interesting thing. I think others, like Leighton was talking about, is people need to be aware. I think that there was just a lack of awareness that from suppliers and from distributors that these products are patented. They really can't be sold.
Well, what's interesting is, this isn't a tiny product segment.
It's enormous. The enormity of it is
also
unbelievable.
Super popular and hot right now. We've talked about holiday gifts and things, corporate gifts, and certainly these types of products are, they're bigger than ever.
They are, and I think what's going to happen is two things. One, products are going to be modified so that they adhere. Essentially, they won't include the plug, the cable that goes into an Apple item. But if you have a power banks would still be fine. They're not items that, some of them do come with those cords.
Right.
They won't anymore come with those cords. You'll have to use your own into the power bank. But if you have an iPhone, you have a cord. So you'll be able to use the power bank. Those products are fine. But the little square chargers, I think, are going to go away essentially, unless suppliers create licensing agreements with Apple, which I'm sure some will do. The problem that causes is that licensing agreement with Apple is going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
And the cost that's going to be put into the supply chain for that product might not make it feasible anymore, because it might double the price of the product. If it was $1 previously, it might actually become $2 for end users. So that's a big difference.
Just to give you a point of reference, one top 40 distributor that we would talk to said these types of products are 20% of what he sells.
Yeah.
So it's a huge
it's a
number.
big segment.
Yeah, and they'll still sell them. They'll just be different. Power banks, like I said, they're going to become cordless.
Yeah, but not for the interim. They're not. I mean, they had to pull
Not
everything.
for
and
the
for
holiday
the
season.
holiday
out
season.
there,
Yeah.
there's not much they can do about what's out there. Even though Apple is trying to get them off the street and get them out of customers' hands, I think that's going to be practically impossible. But Apple's lawyer has been persona non grata. So.
Now, what's interesting is I think the first letters that went out all went out to distributors, as far as we can tell, and
yes.
So suppliers certainly are aware of it, but have not yet received
as
their
far
own
as
cease
far
and
as
desist letters.
as far as we know, suppliers have not. Although they're about to, because part of the process that happened is Apple's telling distributors to tell them.
Yeah, they're required.
Who supplied them with the products. So names are going to be found out. It's not so surprising that the letters first went to distributors. Those are the people that Apple could find online.
Sure.
So there's online catalogs that end users are seeing, and Apple found those as well, and that's probably how it began. But an interesting issue that certainly will impact a product category at least a little bit.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll keep following that in Council Program and in Supplier Global Resource. Now we're going to go to our call-in segment. Today's topic is our PR tips and tricks to grow your business. We're taking your calls at 215-953-4979 if you have any PR tips or questions about PR. We have some callers on line 2. We have Everett. Good morning, Everett.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, good. So I don't have any contacts in my local press or within the industry magazines, and honestly, I don't even know how to begin to go about building those contacts. Can you give me any advice?
Absolutely. Right now I would take advantage of seasonal trends and let your position yourself in the local media as a commentator for those trends. One example is corporate gifts. ASI did a corporate gift study, which you could tap into, that talks about spending on corporate gifts this year. You might give that information to local media and talk about some trends you're seeing in the corporate gift area. I mean, all local newspapers are writing articles about popular corporate gifts, and you could be the expert for that. Joe, you're looking very thoughtful over there.
I am. You know what? As for getting the people the magazines and stuff, just go to the masthead, see who is, your editor of the magazine, managing editor of the magazine, editor-in-chief, anyone who's got, contact information there, that's who you're going to send those things to. Another thing that Barbara Corcoran, who's been a keynoter at several ASI shows, and we know her from the Shark Tank, that when she first started out to get some PR for her company, she used to hold focus groups. She would get 10 to 15 people she knew together and then ask them questions and show them different things, and then she would come with statistics. Like 75% of this focus group agree that this neighborhood is the up-and-coming neighborhood, whatever it is. So you could do the same thing with promotional products. You bring in some people, and it can be very casual at your office, at your house. Show them some products. What do they like best? And you can then focus it, say, on gift giving, or maybe, it's on sports team apparel. Show them a variety of different athletic wear, everything from uniforms to hoodies to warm-ups and stuff. And they get a feel from them and say, according to this focus group, this is what we found out.
I think you could also take the same approach that Joe said about the mastheads, but with local press. Send them copies of the ad impression study with lumpy mail. Lumpy mail, people, it's my favorite thing. And send examples of promotional products to the people with the ad impression study.
Direct marketing is not dead. I mean,
No.
if you get anything that's got a lump
And reporters love to get
you open
Totally.
it up.
free giveaways, no question.
But you have to send a sample. I mean, show what we
Absolutely.
do.
All right, Everett, I hope that gives you some great ideas. Stay on the line for your ASI Radio prize pack. And on line 3, we have Victoria. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, hi. You actually kind of answered some of my questions, but I have a company. It's not large enough really to have a marketing team, so I was just wondering what are some ways that I can generate PR for my company that, wouldn't really require a lot of resources.
Absolutely. Well, I think some of the, positioning yourself as an expert is certainly one way.
I would say I would add that if you're involved in any community activities, if there's any charities that you're involved in, or anything that any charitable event that your company supplies products to, those are important for local media. There's probably local media at those events, so they're covering them, and that's one way. But also after the fact, what you did and why you did it and how you were involved. I think any charitable or community effort that you or your company is involved in, local media would be interested in hearing about.
Andy, I agree with that, and it's pretty easy too. As long as you have a smartphone, you're at this event, get someone to take your picture with someone else, and you take that, email it to local newspaper, trade journal, whatever it is, write a little caption about what it is, and then some contact information. There are a lot of times these magazines, local papers, just have a section that just has pictures and captions, what's going on in the community.
News. Absolutely.
So, I mean, that takes very little time.
The only other tip I'd give with that, because I used to work in community news, is do it immediately. Like you said, send it right from the place. I can't tell you the times when I worked in newspapers where I got a press release about an event like that, like 3 weeks after it happened. And, if you've got a daily newspaper, there's no way you're going to print that. You just won't look timely. But like you said, because it's so easy now to just send off a picture, just do it immediately. And, a lot of community papers are always looking for great news like that.
Yeah, and I would say, just like Melinda said to the first caller, find seasonal things to tout promotional products about to your local media. So right now, you could do a list of the top 5 corporate gifts for the holidays. The 5, and you just make it up. The 5 things that your clients are buying the most for the holidays, and you're a local company, and your local business media might be interested in that, and just find other things throughout the year.
Yeah, throughout the year, like Earth Day. Before Earth Day, send out a press release on how how corporations are showcasing their green-friendly efforts through promotional products.
Right.
And again, 5 top products, and you can, repeat that with,
St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a press
Derby.
release that was very. That got a lot of pickup that ASI sent out was a few years ago when swine flu was a huge deal. We saw a spike in sales of hand sanitizers and put out a press release that, well, everybody, every newspaper in America is covering swine flu, and here's a new spin that, companies are handing out logoed hand sanitizers to people. So
I have a Joe show coming up dedicated to cold and flu season.
Oh, okay. I'll be sure to watch.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, no, it's like Melinda says.
Victoria sounded a little sarcastic.
Yeah, but there's products out there. You got hand sanitizers, you got sanitizers,
No, absolutely.
wipes. You've got things with carabiners so you can carry it around. I mean, there's a lot of different things, and
Are you going to dress up like Sneezy?
Are you dress like?
Are you going to dress up like Mucus? That little Mucus thing?
That's awful. That's
Yes.
the worst commercial.
The Mucus Show. That's what we'll call it.
Okay, well, Victoria, I hope that gives you some great tips. Please stay on the line for our ASI Radio prize pack. Michelle, you've got some Facebook comments on this topic as well.
We do. Eric Campbell asked some questions of us. He says, when formulating a press release, what are the top 3 pieces to include to help drive traffic or interest back to one's company? Do you have any tools for submitting press releases that you recommend?
Okay. The first question, the top 5 things he said?
Top 3 pieces that you look for that he should include when formulating press releases.
think-
Contact information.
I was going to go on the content, but I think numbers and data is important. If you can find any kind of data that backs up the point of your release, I think that is something that media look for
And
sure.
speaking of the point, make the point in the first sentence,
Yes.
because if people can't find it in the first 2 sentences, they're gone. And it should be in the headline as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, a strong headline that has some sort of news angle. You really need to also answer the question, why do I care about this now? So if you can give it a timely element, like obviously if it's
For sure.
corporate gift season, that should be in the headline.
And like Michelle said, make contact information
Super
very,
easy.
very easy to find. Should be at the top. It should be in the email if you're sending email. It should be in multiple places so that people can find you quickly if they need to.
And if you have a high resolution photo, attach it right onto the release.
Yep.
No jargon. I hate when you get a press release and you have no idea what they're talking
You
about.
don't say
Solution provider?
State-of-the-art solution provider.
The other thing I would say, attach images and make sure your images are of high quality. Now,
Yeah.
you can get a good usable image from an iPhone. You really can. But sometimes we just got a press release the other day, and someone's moving from one company to another, and the press release came, and it was well written, and the picture was so small. The picture was so small that was attached, and you can't even use the picture.
Well,
then that reporter either start the story without the picture or go back to the source and say, I need a better picture. Make sure the artwork's good.
We struggle with getting good artworks for our magazines sometimes because we have a lot of people, send us artwork. My top complaint is, you ask someone, you want a business headshot, like a professional quality headshot of someone, and they'll send like their wedding picture or a picture of them with their dog or
cut out the
a
dog.
picture of them, in some scene, arm in arm with other people. I mean, those are not,
And it's so,
it's so
easy right now. Like, you don't have to go to a photo studio to get this
it
done.
used to be that it was more
you know.
difficult to obtain a headshot, but you can do one today.
Go
if
on
you
a
like.
white background, have somebody
Smile.
grab their iPhone, smile, and take a high-res picture. It's really, it couldn't be any easier.
And, you mentioned the white background. That's really important, too, because the chances are the picture will be much more usable. I mean, if you're in front of your Christmas tree or you've got, your dog macrame
it's
behind
that
you.
noise behind you.
Exactly.
The other thing is, just because it looks good on your computer does not mean it's going to look good in print.
True.
And you've got to look at the properties and see the size of that image. If because a lot of times online images are 72 dpi, and if it's not at least 300 dpi, the quality is not going to be good, no matter how big that image is. And then some say, Joe, just blow it up. It's going to look horrible.
All right, Michelle, what other comments did you have?
Well, Ryan Schad suggests that there are sites now that will help you craft press releases. That there's kind of like boilerplate. You just plug in your information, and by the time you're done, you'll have a fully fleshed out press release to use. So there are sites like that. You want people to know.
Yep.
And Laurie O'Shea says that she has found that she's gotten a lot of help with her SEO by using Google Analytics, which she says is king. That has really kind of helped her hone in on her message and where it's going and where people are finding out about motivators.
Good for her.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to pause for a message from today's show sponsor, ASI Education. And when we return...
Wait, Stanley has a really funny comment because I just have to read it. Stanley, I think, is drinking this early in the morning.
Stanley from I Promote You?
Yes, Stanley from I Promote You, our friend in California, says, just to get more PR, he just drops Andy Cohen and Joe Haley's name, and doors just open up all over town.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Crazy house.
Stanley's had some
Stanley's had
emotions
some cocktails
morning.
this early in the morning.
All right, we'll be right back.
At ASI, we know that education is the key to success, so we're excited to announce our newly reimagined online learning center. Log in and test the all-new intuitive interface. Share photos, stories, and communicate with other ASI members who are learning along with you. Expand your knowledge with wikis, discussion boards, and more than 350 courses, which include valuable marketing and sales information. And for your convenience, the Online Learning Center now uses a single sign-on access like your other ASI services. Best of all, it's free. Become an industry expert and see what's new on the ASI Online Learning Center at www.asicentral.com/online learning.
We're back with ASI's Tuesday morning show. Now, Michelle, would you call yourself a hipster?
I definitely would not.
Yeah, I mean, you're
They're
lots
so
of
annoying.
things, but
Do we have a hipster in the
not
room?
a hipster. Well,
We do have a
Michelle's-
hipster in the room.
Yeah, we have a hipster in the room with the
I
hipster
don't
beard.
Vinny
think Vinny's
Driscoll.
a hipster. I think
All
he's
he's missing is his ukulele.
He's not. Is that a hipster look? He's a
Yes.
mountain man.
Oh yeah, the beard's the
Yeah.
the big hipster
But
beard.
he's not wearing skinny jeans. Isn't that a hipster
Well, thank
thing?
God.
Okay.
We have blessings on this Tuesday.
All right. Well, Michelle, there's a retail hipster out there, though, that people can learn from in terms of marketing and brand building.
Yes. Who at this table does anybody know, and it's not going to be him, who Warby Parker is?
I do.
Yeah.
The eyeglass place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you know who Warby Parker was? Yeah. So they are a very hip, very trendy eyeglass company, and they sell a lot online, and they do a lot with social media.
They have stores now, too, though, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. But they started, it was strictly an
Right,
online thing,
right.
but now they've opened up stores. But they're very cool, and they have inexpensive glasses, but very, very trendy. And they interviewed the CEO of the company, Neil Blumenthal, and asked him for 3 tips on how to make your company's brand appealing, especially to millennials and hipsters like Vinny. Number 1, don't fake it. People have extremely sensitive BS detectors these days, Blumenthal says. They can pick up on a brand's authenticity or fakeness immediately. And he says to gain consumers' trust, Warby Parker has made transparency and honesty a key component to its customer relations, especially when it comes to owning up to a mistake before it becomes a bigger issue. Boy, isn't that a good point.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
Don't forget the little little things. Be honest and accepting responsibility is just the beginning in starting an authentic relationship with customers. Brands need to be proactive about making customers feel their needs are being met. So, for example, he says his company may offer a discount. It might be offering free glasses, whatever it takes to get. So, for example, if a customer loses their glasses right before they go on vacation, Warby Parker will overnight them at no cost. So the customer has their glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how
great
about
stuff.
that?
I got to check that.
Last but not least, don't be a control freak. He says his brand is strictly not his brand, and he knows it. It's now owned by the people who love his company on social media, and it's not a great thing to try to control it with like a vice grip. And, if somebody, of course, has a problem online, one of his people will jump in and try to solve the problem, but he lets people say what they want to say about his company.
I think you do have to embrace that a little bit. It's certainly more of a consumer issue than B2B, but when people are talking about you, either good or bad, you almost need to kind of figure out ways to run with that, as opposed to just fighting it. Because if you're fighting it, you're looking like you're defensive and something actually is wrong, and that's not what you want to look like in the online world today.
He says these days your community and your consumers are your brand managers.
Yeah,
which I think is
that's a
great
good point. That's interesting.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. We're going to put those tips online as well at asicentral.com/radio. Joe Haley.
You.
Everybody, a lot of distributors and suppliers in our audience have newsletters.
Yes.
You're going to tell us how to double your subscribers in 5 days. This should be interesting.
Yeah, the author of this piece says it can be done. First thing you want to do is compile an initial group of subscribers by tapping your personal networks. So if you have friends, you have colleagues, you have relations, relatives, people they're going to read this. You want to get them subscribed right away to make sure that they're going to be opening this up. Okay. What do you think another thing?
And passing it on.
And passing it on. Yes, Andy. What do you think another thing you should do?
You should tout it in social media.
Amplify the list by holding a competition.
Okay.
Now you do
That
that
too.
by amplifying it through
Social media.
So you hold a competition, and they offer some suggestions. Use a cloud platform to automate and garner data that can help you make decisions mid-competition, such as doubling down on influencers who are feigning virility. That doesn't sound right, but anyway, viral. Viral.
Do you need
on this
Andy's
subject.
help in reading your paper?
Well, it just seems like out of place. Anyway, so you can change your competition in the middle of it. So you're going to have a competition. You're going to offer, it says, a scarce prize that people actually want. So instead of saying, hey, read my newsletter and enter this competition, and if you're the winner at the end of the month, you're going to get 2 coffee mugs with a logo on it. Make it something big. Make it something big that someone's going to want. And through the social media and the newsletter, you're going to give the most points. You're going to give points out for people who start following you on Facebook, who are following you on Twitter. Every time they follow you and start to be engaged with you in different formats, they get points. But give them the most points for signing up for your newsletter.
All right, and give us one more.
Oh, well, there's only one more. It says pay Facebook $5 to $10 a day for the length of your contest to extend your reach.
What?
Say that again.
Michelle is anti-Facebook.
Pay
so.
Facebook $5 to $10 a day for the length of your contest to extend your reach. By doing this,
Pay them what? Pay them to
I didn't know that was an option for you. Pay them. Oh, Vinny's saying yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you could expand your reach. It's like an ad basically.
Okay.
but
Yeah,
It's promoting your post.
right.
I think those post promotes are questionable, but we can talk about that at another
I
time.
agree.
Well,
but
why do you think that?
Because
Let's not talk about that another time. Let's talk about that now.
I think this whole idea that in 5 days you're going to double your subscribers. If you have 2, yes, I'm sure you can get 4. But if you've got a sizable, if you've got 200, can you really get 400
I don't
in
know,
5
maybe you
days?
can.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm skeptical.
I think it depends on the
thinking-
quality of the gift and how hard you hit all of those points.
Right.
You really have to go all in.
The reason I said that about Facebook, and this sounds like it's a little bit different, but I've heard from some people who bought Facebook likes, and it turns out their likes were all from, people in foreign countries who were very unlikely to engage with them and buy their products, and it seemed like a scam, Frank.
Have we tried promoted posts on Facebook? We're starting to. I mean, the buying of likes, I think that might be a
That's
little
different.
weird.
It's a different thing.
But the promoted posts, if you expand your reach by getting to thousands more people, the percentage of response is not going to be great, but that's
just,
1,000 more
question-
people who have not
But
seen
my
it.
question are, who are the people?
Well,
and that's what I don't know.
I'm
And
sure
they
there's
could be-
qualifications. I mean, Facebook's not stupid.
Right. That's my question.
Except for Michelle.
Well,
thinks they
I'm
are,
with her.
but-
I think. I mean, is it
Well,
it quality over quantity?
Yeah, I mean, the
no,
person
it's
at-
another marketing thing, and
One of
it's
the-
$5 to $10 a day. That's not huge to try
One
to
of the,
expand your reach.
The person, who wrote about this was a marketer who did a blog about it and said, the more he bought, the lower his engagement was on his site. But again, these were likes.
That could be.
could be a whole different
I'm just saying it could be something to test. It is a way to expand your reach. If you're trying to grow your newsletter subscriber base, which is what we were talking about, that could be a way to do it. It's another. We talk on the show about testing different marketing
Absolutely.
practices. That's
And I
one.
think the ads and the
not
promoted
bad to
posts,
test.
it's a different platform, so
Sure.
I'm not sure how that works,
Right.
but something to look into.
All
All right.
We'll post this online.
Thank you, Joe. We have just enough time to talk about our favorite products of the week. Michelle, why don't you start us off?
Mine is, oh my God, it's so pretty. This gorgeous watch from Logomark. It really, it's almost as pretty as my
Would you like it
Rolex.
for Christmas?
Possibly. I mean, it's that stunning. It's really, I found it on their website. Anyway, it's from logomark.com, ASI 67866. You can see a picture of it on our website at asicentral.com/radio. It's gorgeous.
Joe, what do you have?
Oh, check this out. I have an embossed here. You hold that for me,
Ooh,
Melinda?
you've got a drop dead blonde with you.
well,
Plus,
drop-
you've got this.
Yeah.
That was good, right?
Oh, that was
we have
pretty
we
quick.
have an aluminum sign here. Aluminum sign. It's made out of recycled material. It's embossed. It's die cut, so your clients can get any size. Embossed, die cut. It's recycled material, so it's good for the environment. These are very nice looking. Look at that, Vinny. A nice shot of that. I mean, the quality.
I mean,
of the
this is
artwork
really
on here-
ideal for a man cave, should you have one.
That's going home with me.
Do you have a man cave?
I don't have a man cave, but I have
got
a
a
bunch.
shed.
Do you have a man area?
He's got a shed.
I have a shed, and I have a bunch
Oh.
of signs on my shed that Pauline doesn't like when I put up the beer-related ones. Cause anyway,
Why? It's bad.
she
Tell
wonders
her-
what
tell
the
her what.
neighbors will think. Well,
Oh,
they
that you
think
put
we're-
them on the outside of the shed?
Yeah, the outside of the shed.
Do the neighbors not know you drink?
I mean, but,
No,
that
they
isn't,
know.
but isn't that like putting it on your house? Would you put a sign on your house like
It's a
that?
shed. It's a garage. Stuff like that. You ever watch American Pickers? They go and they find people who've got these things affixed to
On
the
the
side.
outside of the garage.
The
door.
outside, yeah.
Would you put a painting up there?
No, just the signs. I have signs up
All
there.
right, all right.
Anyway, you can find this from Dixie Seal and Stamp. They're ASI 50120. Find them online at dixieline.com. Now in Dixie, it's DIXILINE.
All right, Andy Cohn, why don't you bring up the rear?
All right, so winter is the time for car breakdowns, isn't that right? So this is an auto safety kit. It's a 48-piece auto safety kit. Comes from Just In Case Promo, which is ASI 63698, and you can see it online now at asicentral.com/radio.
All right. Well, we are out of time. Thanks today for listening, everyone. And thanks to today's show sponsor, ASI Education. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place. And Andy Cohn will entertain us, won't you, Andy?
Absolutely.
Have a